Food porn. We all know this is what really drives the internet. Well, that and kittens. Oh, look how cute he's so cute. Oh, sorry. Food porn. Food porn. I had nothing to do with this particular cook or this meal. However, I want me some. Yeah, I want me some of that. So I'm going to try to recreate it. Now I hear what you're saying is, how hard is that to recreate? You smoke a brisket, you go to the store, you get a hamburger, you go and throw the hamburger on the grill, and you're done. No. Food porn like this, it needs its own. It has to be just right. So I'm gonna grind my own hamburger. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grind my own hamburger for this. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grind it. Now, I've been looking into grinding my own hamburger for a while, and found that a lot of people just take chuck or something like that and grind it up and make the hamburger out of that, which works fine, but not for what was there. It's got to be layered. It's got to be multi-textured. It's got to be finicky. Sorry. So I'm going to grind 3 different types of meat together to make the hamburger. So I've been thinking about this. What you really need is you need about a 70-30 or a 80-20 blend from lean to fat. I tend to lean towards the 70-30, but you can tell. But so what you need is you need some lean meat and you need some fatty beef. So what am I going to do? I'm going to blend 3 types together. Starting off with sirloin. Sirloin is as lean as you can get. There's some intermuscular fat there. It has good taste and stuff, but it's going to be 40% of my mixture is going to be sirloin. Then 30% is going to be brisket. Yep, the flat part of the brisket. I'm going to take 30% of it from that, because this has got brisket on top of it, so you know how you have to balance things out. You got red on this side of the room, and you got to put little touches of red on that side of the room. Same thing here. We're going to have the slow cooked smokiness of the brisket on top, plus the fast cooked or the fried meat of the brisket too. So there'll be 2 competing textures or 2 competing tastes there. Hopefully they'll kind of up the ante. Once again, I can hear you saying that the flat part is once again very lean. And you're right, it is. That's when the oxtail comes into work. Oxtail is some of the fattiest stuff in the world. It's it gets used a lot. It's due to flies flying around the cattle. Those tails get moved a lot. And what happens when you have a lot of movement? You have lots of blood flow to it. It means lots of capillary, which means lots of fat. So oxtail is very, very fatty. So I'm going to do 30% of oxtail. So 40, 30, and 30. 30 and 30 is 60, plus 40 is 100%. So I got 100% of the meat. First off, before I do any of this, we need to talk about food safety. When we cook steaks and such, we cook them on high heat. And any of the bad things like E. coli or salmonella on the outside of the meat only get killed off real quickly by the high heat. The problem with hamburger and grinding your own hamburger is if it wasn't done cleanly or professionally or whatever, when you grind the meat up, the baddies that are on the outside are now on the inside of the meat. As a result of this, it's been determined that we should cook our meat to 160 degrees internally. That way it kills any of the bad things. I know 130 to 135 is like the sweet spot for beef, but it's just in this day and age you have to cook it so you keep you and your family safe. So that's what we're gonna. What's that? Well, yeah, that's my sous vide rig. yeah, I could use the sous vide because, I mean, sure, it's just, it would take so long. I mean, it's, you know, you got to get the internal temperature of the meat to 130 degrees and then hold it there for at least 2 hours. So you're talking a 2.5 hour cook in the sous vide. I mean, that's, oh yeah, I'm cooking a brisket as well, aren't I? It'll take anywhere from 9 to 14 hours. Hey, yeah, what's the heck? What's the difference between, you know, 2.5 hours to 9 hours? Okay, you're right. Sous vide, 2.5 hours to 130 degrees. We'll pasteurize the beef as well. So you know what? We're going to do it both ways. Yep, we're going to do them both ways. We're going to do 2 pounds of meat, making half-pound burgers each. 2 of the burgers I'll do sous vide, and 2 of the burgers I'll do on the grill to 160. Then we'll compare them and see which one's juicier, if they're better taste, different taste. We'll just try it and find out.
Okay, full disclosure, I don't actually have a meat grinder. Actually still leaves me with about 3 options. If I wanted to, I could manually do it with a couple of knives, but then I wouldn't be called the gadget griller, I'd be called the manual griller. So leaves us with 2 other options. I could use my Vitamix, which is a blender, and it would definitely chunk it up, but you know, if you didn't watch it, it's so powerful, the bottom could turn to goo before the top would even start cutting, so it's just, it's not good enough. So that leaves me with my one last thing, and I'm betting that most of y'all have it in your house or apartment already, and that's a food processor. I'm going to use my KitchenAid food processor. Yeah, you got to do a little bit. I mean, just like you would on a grinder, you need to chill the meat, put it in the refrigerator, the freezer for about 20 minutes, and cut it into cubes about inch square. And then you just don't want to fill the bowl up too much, which might be kind of hard to do on mine. It's got an inner bowl that I use most of the time, but this time I'm going to use this. And so that's how we're going to grind the meat this time. So this video is running much longer than I ever thought it would, so we're actually going to make 2 parts. This is going to be the end of the first part, and then next time we'll actually grind the meat, make the hamburgers. We're going to check on the brisket out there it's cooking and see if I can replicate that food. That's it for this time on the Gadget Grill.